The purpose of this video is to install an EMV upgrade card reader kit into a Genmega G2500 ATM. Begin by opening the top of the ATM and powering it off. With the top of the ATM open, the next step is to remove the screws which will allow the front of the ATM to hinge forward. Begin by removing this screw here and then another on the opposite side. To install this kit, you'll need the following parts: the EMV card reader, brackets and related mounting hardware, reset board, as well as a Phillips screwdriver and a small wire cutter. Once the front of the ATM has been hinged forward, you're ready to remove the existing card reader. Begin by removing the ground screw located here. Take the gray cable out and return the screw with the green cable. With the ground wire disconnected, remove the cable from the back of the card reader here. In order to remove the rest of the cabling, you'll need to cut this nylon zip tie located here. Cut the zip tie with a wire cutter, being careful not to damage the wires underneath, and then remove the gray grounding wire and the card reader cable. Next, remove the cover off the back of the main board. There are two screws in the upper corners which you'll need to remove in order to lift the cover off. With the cover off, unplug the card reader cable from this location. Then pull it down through the bottom. In order to remove the cable completely from the machine, you may need to open this cable tie here and pull the cable out. Once the cables are free, you're now ready to remove the existing card reader. There are 4 screws located here, 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 and here, which secure the card reader to the back of the bezel. Remove those screws and then remove the card reader. With the old card reader removed, you're now ready to assemble the new EMV reader. The next step is to attach the left and right bracket to the side of the new card reader using the 2 screws included with the kit, which both have little washers. The brackets are keyed so that they'll only install on the correct side of the card reader. When installing, make sure to put the screw in the rear position on the bracket. You can now install the assembled EMV reader into the back of the bezel. Use the original screws from the old card reader. There are 4 additional screws included with the kit that you can use in case you lose any. Don't forget to install the green ground strap at this lower position. Next, install the ground wire onto the slide tray using this screw. Any additional cable should be coiled around the wiring harness to prevent the cable from snagging when you open and close the slide tray. The next step involves assembling the card reader reset board. Attach the included jumper wire to the side of the reset board in the small socket as shown. Next, insert the jumper wire from the reset board into the old socket where the card reader cable was plugged in. Next, install the reset board into the 9-pin serial connector on the side of the motherboard. Use the 2 long machine screws included with the kit here and here to secure the board. Note that where the 2 boards meet, the wires will be very tight, so be careful to move them around and give them space as needed so they don't get pinched. Also note at the bottom edge of the reset board down here is a small switch. The switch should be pointing towards the main board in this direction. Here is a close-up of the switch to verify it's in the right position. Next, we need to identify the type of main board your ATM is using. For this particular board, there is a mark in the section next to the battery that says ACU5. If your ATM is using an ACU5 mainboard, you're going to need to remove this jumper right here, which is directly next to the 9-pin serial port. With the jumper removed, install the yellow and white jumper which was included with the kit. It's a 3-pin jumper, so just press it over the 3 pins. It doesn't matter left or right. If the ATM you're upgrading contains an ACU3 style motherboard, which is identified by the multi-layer Ethernet and CPU board, the jumper you want to replace is located in the middle up near the top of the board. This is directly above a small reset button. There are 2 jumper positions side by side. Remove the jumper on the right and replace with the jumper included with the kit. Now that the new card reader hardware has been installed, double check all of the cables to make sure that there's nothing that's going to snag or pinch when you slide open and close the top of the ATM. Go ahead and replace the cover on the back of the mainboard. One more note about the new EMV card reader. On the back of the card reader, at this point, is a small rubber plug. If your ATM is currently updated with the latest software, version 5.0 or higher, you may go ahead and remove this plug by grabbing the back and pulling it forward. If your ATM does not have the latest software, it's recommended that you leave this rubber plug in place until your ATM is updated with the latest software. This shows the card reader with the rubber plug removed. With the top portion of the ATM now screwed back in place, go ahead and power on the ATM and close the top. Once the ATM has fully booted up, you'll need to change the card reader type. Enter the operator function menu. From the operator menu, select System Setup, then Device Setup, then Card Reader Setup, and set type to EMV. Once it's been selected, you can cancel out of the menu. You're now ready to test the card reader to verify that it's functioning. Insert your card and remove as normal to verify that it's reading. At this point, the card reader is working fine. The job is complete.